So that's where we have to take it, and that's the way we have to look at it. That's pretty well all I wanted to say, so thanks for listening, folks. We have some questions. I'm happy to take some questions, Q&A.
Thanks very much, Max Igan. It was a bit of a surprise he was here, so we're really, really honoured to have you here. Thank you. Any questions in the audience? That was quick. And of course, Mr. Dan Schreiber, thank you.
Hey Max, thank you very much. That was awesome.
Thank you, Dan.
What do you reckon you were saying it's a shift in the heart, yes, and you said we can't be doing it alone. What sort of threshold numbers do you think are required before the target is too large to kind of hide away and, you know, and use dodgy means to put away? How many people do you think we need?
From what I can see in my travels, I think we've already got the people. I think we've already got the numbers we need. We just need to know what approach to take.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if you've got those numbers, let's say it's 1,000 people, what do we need to get those people together in a consensual way that there's a strategy to move forward in the way you're talking about?
Well, what you really need is you need you need public knowledge of this, because like sheep will follow, you know what I mean? If we really wanted to stand up and start speaking out, we've got enough people to do it, but in the meantime we need to disseminate through the population, because really when you think about what I said, it's all common sense. It's absolute common sense. The guy next door who drives a Kingswood and watches the footy could figure this out. You know, if you can get a way of telling him, if you can find a way of breaking down that barrier so he doesn't look at you like a hippie or whatever, and he'll actually listen to you for 5 minutes. So once we've got that consensus, there's enough people in the world now that there's enough people in the world now that know this, that could stand up. I mean, I'll go and say it. I'll hold the government in breach of trust. I'll go public and do it. But I need to know that there's a groundswell of people in the populace that are going to stand up and say, yeah, what he said. Yeah, we want to do what he said. You know, and I don't want to lead anybody. I don't want the leadership gig. No way. I don't want to know about that. But, you know, once we have this knowledge in the minds of the population, and it can be as simple as that. You don't have to go down any rabbit holes of consciousness. You don't have to try to brainwash them with anything. You don't have to try to break any paradigms. You don't have to try to tell them about psychotropic plans. You don't have to try any of it. All you've got to get them to do is understand the basis of their relationship with government. It's fiduciary trust. Once they can grasp that concept, then we can get this groundswell happening. And I think we've got enough people in the world now that kind of know it, like what I was saying before. I mean, you and I, you could do this, I could do this. Anybody who really is in their heart can do this. If you can stand up against the system by simply asking the right questions, that's what I do. Whenever I get harassed by the system, I just ask the right questions. You know, police officers try and ask me to do things, I say, is this a request or a demand? They say it's a request. I say, well, if it's a request, obviously I have a choice. After careful consideration, I'm deciding I won't be acquiescing to your request. Thank you for the offer. And I say, well, it's a demand. And I say, really, a demand? Are you a slave trader? Because according to section 268 and 270 of the Australian Criminal Code, no individual can be compelled by any other individual to perform any task or action against their will. That's called slavery. So if you're requesting that or if you're demanding that I perform an action, that I intend to hold you, not your police station, but you, John Smith, accountable for your actions, and I'll be taking action against you for slavery. And I just say these sorts of things to them. You know, who are you representing? Oh, I'm representing the Crown. Well, if the Crown chooses to exercise a right of ownership through you, I'll be holding you accountable. And you make complaints. Make complaints to ethical standards. Make a complaint to the Attorney General. Make a complaint to Police Health. And if they can't get insurance, they can't work as a cop. That always affects them, things like that. That's the way I approach the legal system. I just always ask the right questions. You know, when the taxation department wants something, I ask them which department they belong to. It's like the customs department, the guy who's been trying to import the Corvette. I don't know whether any of you have seen his story. He's been trying to import a Corvette, and they've been trying to hit him with customs tax. And he's saying, well, are you representing the Department of Customs and Excise, as said by the Constitution? Or are you the Australian Customs Department? Who is the Australian Customs Department? Are you related to the Department of Customs and Excise? And they won't answer, because they're not. They're a corporation. You don't have to pay them. They're a fiction. This is, you know, you've just got to ask the right questions. So there's enough people doing it, there's enough people knowing it, but we need to have this knowledge of this trust agreement disseminated throughout the community. It's a really, really simple concept. Really, really simple. And once enough people get it, once someone stands up and does it publicly, they're going to go, hey, yeah, this makes sense. And we can do this in all our countries, all our nations. So this is another thing. We're all stuck with our nationalism. We all think the problem's native to our country. Oh, what's happening in Australia? Oh, wow, look what's happening in Croatia. Oh, it's America. Oh, it's England. It's across the globe. It's a global corporation. You know this, Dan. It's a global corporation. It's a global situation. But I don't think we need too many more people. I think we've got the people who've got the real knowledge that know this now. All we need is to disseminate this throughout the rest of the community. How many we need, I mean, I don't know. I think it'll spread like wildfire. Once people start understanding, I think it'll spread like wildfire because it's so basic and so simple.